Welcome back to another episode of Valuable Coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the most valuable and unique coins in the market today. If you're a coin enthusiast, collector, or simply interested in the incredible value of rare coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we will explore two of the most fascinating and expensive United States coins currently circulating the auction market. First, up the Washington quarter dollar, 1966, without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But it is important to clarify right away that this coin is not silver. Up through 1964, all U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, because of rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint changed the composition starting in 1965. From then onward, all circulation quarters, including the 1966 issue, were made of a clad construction with a pure copper core and outer layers of copper nickel. So, while many people assume coins from the mid-1960s still contain silver, the 1966 quarter is part of the first generation of clad coinage and carries no silver content. The obverse of the coin carries the portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1966 below. Philadelphia coins of this era did not carry a mint mark, so there is no mint mark present. The reverse features the heraldic eagle with spread wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath, surrounded by the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. This classic design was in use from 1932 until the state quarters program began in 1999. Your coin is described as being in damaged fine condition with scratches. On the grading scale, fine means that the major details are still visible but noticeably worn. Washington's hair would appear flat, with little separation in the strands, while the eagle's wings and body on the reverse would show heavy flattening. Damage and scratches further reduce value, since collectors tend to prefer coins with cleaner surfaces even for common dates. A damaged coin is usually valued lower than a problem-free example of the same grade. In today's market, a circulated 1966 quarter in fine condition with scratches and damage is generally worth face value, 25 cents. Because there were more than 800 million quarters minted that year, they are very common. Dealers will not pay more than face value for them, since they already handled them in bulk. If listed individually at an auction or online, a scratched, damaged coin might sell for 25 cents to 50 cents, and in rare cases, maybe $1. But realistically, its worth is its denomination. The value increases only in higher grades. An uncirculated 1966 quarter, still showing its original mint luster, might bring $20 to $50. Certified mint state coins in Ms. 65 condition can bring $20 to $40. And superb examples in MS 67 have sold for well over $100 at auction. But these high prices apply only to coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, not to circulated examples with scratches or damage. One interesting point about the 1965-1967 coins is that they were issued without mint marks as part of a U.S. Mint effort to discourage coin hoarding during the transition from silver to clad coinage. That makes the 1966 quarter part of an important historical moment when the nation shifted permanently away from silver circulating coins. Collectors sometimes like to assemble complete sets of these transitional dates, but because of the high mintages, only the best preserved examples are sought after. Errors from 1966 can carry extra value. Examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchette. These errors can bring tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on severity. A very rare error is a 1966 quarter accidentally struck on a leftover 90% silver planchette from 1964. which would weigh 6.25 grams instead of the normal clad weight of 5.67 grams. Such transitional errors are worth thousands of dollars, but they are extremely scarce and require professional authentication. Next up, the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and it stands as one of the common issues in the long wheat cent series that ran from 1909 to 1958. By 1940, the United States was emerging from the Great Depression and on the brink of World War II, and coins like this were part of everyday commerce for millions of Americans. The absence of a mint mark beneath the date identifies it as a Philadelphia issue, which was by far the largest producer of cents during this period. The obverse of the coin carries Victor David Brenner's familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which had already been in use for more than 3 decades by the time this coin was struck. The inscriptions include the national motto, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, the word liberty to the left, and the date, 1942, the right. Since there is no mint mark, the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse features the classic wheat ears design, with 2 stylized wheat stalks curving along the sides of the coin, enclosing the bold central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Across the top is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many. Your coin is described as being in fine F condition with some scratches. In this grade, the coin shows moderate wear from circulation. On the obverse, Lincoln's hair and beard are worn, though still outlined, and his cheek and jaw show flattening. The lettering is clear and sharp. On the reverse, the wheat stalks retain some detail, though the fine interior lines are faint or nearly gone. The scratches you mention reduce the overall appearance somewhat, but coins of this age often show marks from decades of handling in terms of mintage. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 586 million wheat pennies in 1940, a very high figure for the time. As a result, the 1940 cent is considered a common issue and is easy to find today. In nearly all grades, many examples survive in circulated condition, and even uncirculated coins are relatively plentiful thanks to rolls saved by collectors and dealers when they were new. When it comes to value, a 1940 Lincoln cent in fine condition with scratches typically sells for around 5 to 15 cents in today's market. Higher circulated grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, might bring 20 to 50 cents. About uncirculated examples can be worth around $1 to $2, while uncirculated coins start in the $3 to $5 range. Brilliant mint state examples with full red luster can be worth $15 to $30, while certified high-grade specimens in MS66 or higher can command $75 to several $100s at auction, depending on color and eye appeal. The 1940 Philadelphia issue does not have any famous key date varieties, but like many coins of the wheat series, some minor repunch dates and die cracks exist. These are of interest to specialists, but usually only bring modest premiums. More dramatic mint errors, such as off-center strikes, die breaks, or clipped planchettes, are collected separately and can sell for $20 to $100 or more, depending on severity and uniqueness. Next up, the Washington quarter dollar, 1983, with a P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint, is often misunderstood. So let's clear this part first. The 1983 quarter is not silver. By this year, all circulation strikes were made from the standard copper-nickel clad composition. The last silver Washington quarters, intended for everyday use, were minted in 1964. From 1965 through the late 1990s, every quarter produced for circulation used the clad construction, a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel. Only special proof sets produced for collectors contained 90% silver quarters, but those were struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. Since your coin has a P mint mark, it is definitely a clad circulation strike. not silver. The design is the familiar one that was used from 1932 through 1998. The obverse shows George Washington's portrait designed by John Flanagan with Liberty at the top, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1983 at the bottom. The P Mint mark is located to the right of Washington's hair ribbon. The reverse shows the heraldic eagle standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus, unum, and $quarter. This classic design connects the 1983 quarter to a long tradition of U.S. coinage. You described the coin as being in good condition, with some scratches. On the coin grading scale, good is a low circulated grade. It means the design details are heavily worn down, with Washington's hair nearly flat and much of the eagle's feather detail missing on the reverse. Scratches and surface marks reduce. I appeal even further. Likusa Slem, because the 1983 P quarter was minted in large numbers. Over 673 million pieces. Examples in such circulated condition are extremely common. In today's market, a 1983 P quarter in good circulated condition with scratches is generally worth face value, 25 cents. Dealers do not pay extra for these coins since they already handle them in bulk, and millions remain in circulation. If listed at auction or online individually, such a coin might bring 25 cents to 50 cents. And in rare cases, up to $1 if a buyer simply wants that date and mint mark to fill a collection slot. But realistically, its value is its denomination. Where value begins to rise is in higher grades. An uncirculated 1983P quarter with no wear and strong mint luster can sell for $3 to $10, depending on quality. Certified mint state coins at MS65 can reach $30 to $50. And superb coins graded MS67 have sold for several $100s because so few survive in flawless condition. That makes gem uncirculated 1983P quarters sought after by serious collectors. But coins in circulated condition, especially with scratches, do not carry premium value. One interesting point is that 1982 and 1983 were the only years in the 1980s when the U.S. Mint did not issue official mint sets. This means high quality. Examples from those years are scarcer than for surrounding dates, since collectors had fewer opportunities to save them in pristine condition. As a result, gem uncirculated 1983 quarters are more valuable than other late 20th century dates. Still, this applies only to coins preserved in excellent condition, not too heavily circulated or scratched examples. Error coins from 1983 can carry strong premiums. Examples include off-center strikes, double dies, or quarters struck on the wrong planchette. Such errors can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on rarity and visual appeal. A 1983 quarter struck on a silver planchette would be extraordinarily rare and valuable. But again, that would require weighing the coin and professional authentication. The standard clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. Next up, the Washington quarter $1971 with a D mint mark from Denver is often mistakenly called a silver coin. But in reality, it is not silver. The U.S. Mint had already stopped using silver in quarters after 1964. From 1965 onward, all regular circulation quarters were struck in a clad composition. This means they have a pure copper core with outer layers of copper nickel. The only Washington quarters produced with silver after 1965 were special issues for collectors, like proof and silver sets, and those came mainly from the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. Since your coin carries a D mint mark from Denver and was struck for circulation in 1971, it is a copper-nickel clad quarter, not silver. The obverse of the coin carries John Flanagan's classic portrait of George Washington, facing left with Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left the date 1971 below and the D mint mark to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon. The reverse features the heraldic eagle with wings outstretched, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. This design had been in use since the introduction of the Washington quarter in 1932 and continued all the way through 1998 before being replaced by the state quarters. Program: you describe the coin as being in very fine VF condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, very fine means the coin has moderate wear, but most major details remain clear. On your coin, Washington's hair detail is worn down but still distinct. And the eagle on the reverse shows feather details, though, with some flattening from circulation. The scratches add further marks that lower the overall appeal. VF is considered a mid-range circulated grade. It's more attractive than heavily worn good coins, but far below the sharpness and value of an uncirculated example. When it comes to market value, the 1971 D quarter had a very high mintage of more than 300 million coins. Because of this, examples in circulated grades like very fine are extremely common. In today's market, a 1971 D quarter in VF condition with scratches is generally worth face value 25 cents. Dealers do not pay extra for such coins, and they are still often found in pocket change today. Where value does increase is at higher levels of preservation. An about uncirculated example may sell for 50 cents to $1, while an uncirculated piece with full mint luster might bring $2 to $5. Certified mint state coins in MS65 can sometimes sell for $20 to $40, and the rarest superb examples graded MS67 or higher can reach hundreds of dollars at auction, since they are difficult to find in such pristine condition without marks. Another factor that could increase value is if the coin is an error variety. Some 1971 quarters are known with off-center strikes, doubled, dies, or struck on the wrong planchette. These error coins can sell for tens to hundreds of dollars, depending on how dramatic the error is. However, normal 1971D circulation strikes in VF with scratches remain very common and carry no significant premium. First up, the 1935 Lincoln. Wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is part of the long-running wheat cent series, which began in 1909 and continued until 1958. By the mid-1930s, the United States was still working its way out of the Great Depression, and coins like the 1935 penny were an everyday necessity for Americans. Because of its large mintage, this coin is not considered rare. But it remains a collectible piece of numismatic history that connects us directly to that era. The obverse of the coin carries the iconic Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1935 to the right. Since there is no mint mark, this coin was struck in Philadelphia. On the reverse, we see the classic wheat ears design, with two stylized wheat stalks curving along the sides of the coin, framing the bold words 1 cent and United States of America. The motto "E pluribus unum" stretches across the top. You describe your coin as being in dirty condition with scratches, which places it in the lower circulated grades. Dirt, discoloration, and surface scratches are common in coins that spent decades in pockets, tills, and circulation. A coin from 1935 in this state might grade anywhere from good G to fine F, depending on how much detail remains visible under the wear and dirt. On such a coin, Lincoln's portrait would appear heavily worn, with much of the hair and cheek detail flattened, while the reverse wheat stalks would be faint or mostly smooth. Though the inscriptions remain readable, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 245 million wheat cents in 1935, making this issue common even today. Because of the large surviving population, collectors can easily find examples in nearly all grades, from well-worn pieces like yours to brilliant Redmond State coins. The abundance of supply means that circulated coins in dirty or scratched condition do not carry much premium value, although they are still desirable to hobbyists who enjoy filling Whitman coin folders or building inexpensive sets. As for value, a 1935 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, in dirty, circulated condition with scratches typically sells for 5 to 15 cents in today's market. Coins in slightly better circulated condition, such as very fine or extremely fine, might bring 20 cents to $1. Higher grade circulated pieces in Dixie, about uncirculated condition, could be worth $2 to $4. Uncirculated examples, especially with full red color, bring stronger premiums of $50 to $150, while certified mint state coins in top grades can sell for $50 to several $100s, depending on luster and eye appeal. Although the 1935 Philadelphia cent does not have any famous varieties, there are some minor errors that can add value. These include repunched dates, die cracks, or off-center strikes. While minor varieties may sell for only a few dollars, major errors can fetch significantly more. For example, a dramatic off-center strike or a coin struck on a foreign planchette could sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and demand. So, for your coin, a 1935 wheat penny from Philadelphia in dirty condition with scratches, realistic market value is about 5 to 15 cents. While it may not be a rare or expensive coin, it is nearly 90 years old and represents an important era in American history. Even heavily worn wheat pennies are loved by collectors for their historical connection, and they remain among the most affordable entry points into the hobby of coin collecting. Next up, the Washington $quarter, 1979, with D mint mark from Denver, is sometimes thought of as silver. But it is important to clear up this detail first. It is not silver. The United States Mint ended silver coinage for regular circulation after 1964, beginning in 1965. All Washington quarters struck for everyday use were made of copper-nickel clad, a pure copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel. In 1979, the only Washington quarters containing silver were proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint for collector sets, not regular coins with a D mint mark. Since your coin is a 1979D, it is the clad version. The obverse shows George Washington's portrait by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, the date 1979 below, and the mint mark D to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon. The reverse features the heraldic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, with inscriptions including United States of America, E pluribus, unum, and $quarter. This eagle reverse design had been in use since 1932 and would remain unchanged until the state quarters program began in 1999. You describe the coin as being in extra fine XF condition with some scratches. In grading terms, extra fine means the coin shows only light wear on the high points, with most design details still sharp and clear. On your coin, Washington's hair would still show significant detail with only the highest strands lightly worn. On the reverse, the eagle's wings, body, and tail feathers would mostly remain visible, though with some slight flattening. Scratches lower the eye appeal somewhat, but overall, an extra fine coin is far more attractive than the heavily worn circulated examples that make up the bulk of 1979D quarters. In today's market, a 1979D quarter in extra fine condition with scratches is generally worth 25 cents to $1. Because this coin was minted in very high numbers, over 489 million pieces, it is extremely common. Circulated examples, even in decent grades, rarely sell for more than face value. A dealer is unlikely to pay extra and in bulk, they are simply traded as spendable quarters. If listed individually online, you might get a small premium, especially from someone who needs the date and mint mark for an album. But realistically, it remains close to its denomination. Where value increases is at higher grades. An about uncirculated 1979D might bring $1 to $2. Uncirculated examples with full mint luster can sell for $300 to $1,000, depending on how clean they are. Certified mint state coins in Ms. 65 can reach $25 to $40, and the highest grades, MS 67 or better, have sold for $100 or more at major auctions because they are hard to find in flawless condition. Proof issues from 1979 struck in San Francisco, including 90%. Silver proofs from special collectors set scary their own premiums. But those are very different from the Denver circulation strike. Error coins can also bring extra value. Quarters. Struck off-center with doubled dies or on the wrong planchette can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and severity. For example, a quarter struck on a dime planchette or foreign coin blank would be dramatically underweight and collectible. But those are rare exceptions. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat penny with a D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint, and it belongs to the later years of the Wheat Cent series. By the 1950s, Lincoln cents were being produced in the billions across the nation's mints, and the 1952D is one of the more common issues of the decade. While not rare, it is still a classic collectible, carrying with it the long legacy of Victor David Brenner's iconic Lincoln portrait, which by then had already been in use for more than 40 years. On the obverse, the coin shows the familiar right-facing bust of President Abraham Lincoln. Above his head arcs the motto, "In God We Trust," with the word liberty to the left and the date 1952 to the right. Just beneath the date is the small letter D, indicating that this piece was struck in Denver. The reverse features the beloved wheat ears design with two wheat stalks curving along the sides of the coin. Enclosing the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above, the motto E pluribus unum reminds us of the nation's unity. You describe your coin as being in extra fine XF condition with some scratches. In numismatic grading, extra fine means the coin saw only light circulation. On your coin, Lincoln's cheek and jaw would still be bold, with most of the hair detail visible, though the highest points of wear show on his hair above the ear and along the jawline. On the reverse, the wheat stalks retain most of their line detail with only slight flattening at the tips. The scratches you mention reduce overall eye appeal a little, but the coin still holds strong detail and remains quite collectible in this condition. The mintage of the 1952D cent was very high. The Denver Mint struck more than 746 million coins that year, which makes the issue extremely common. Even though these pennies are now over 70 years old, their large mintage and the fact that many were saved in rolls or bags means they are not difficult to find today, especially in circulated grades. Uncirculated examples are also abundant, which helps keep prices modest for all but the finest known pieces. In terms of value, a 1952D wheat penny in extra fine condition with some scratches is generally worth around 15 to 30 cents in today's market. Slightly higher circulated grades, such as about uncirculated, may sell for 50 cents to $1. Uncirculated coins can range from $2 to $5 for brown examples, up to $10 to $20 for coins with bright red luster. Certified high-grade mint state red specimens, especially in MS 66 or higher, can command $50 to several $100s, depending on rarity and eye appeal at auction. The 1952D does not have any major key date varieties, but it is known for some repunched mint mark RPM varieties. These occur when the D mint mark was punched into the die more than once, leaving behind visible doubling or shadowing on the letter. Collectors enjoy these varieties, and depending on clarity, some can add a small premium of a few dollars to the coin's value. More dramatic mint errors, such as off-center strikes or clipped planchettes, are less common but can bring values ranging from $20 to $100 or more, depending on demand. So, for your coin in 1952D Lincoln Wheat Penny in extra fine condition with some scratches, the realistic value in today's market is about 15 to 30 cents. While not a rare or highly valuable coin, it is still a desirable piece of the wheat cent series, especially for collectors who are putting together complete day-tanned mint mark sets. It represents the strong post-war coinage production of the United States and carries the timeless image of Abraham Lincoln, which has now graced the cent for more than a century. Next up, the 1965 Washington quarter is an important coin in American numismatic history because it marks the beginning of a new era in U.S. coinage. Many people still believe the 1965 quarter was made of silver. But in truth, this was the very first year the U.S. Mint stopped using silver for quarters intended for circulation. Before 1965, quarters were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to rising silver prices and a shortage of coins in circulation, Congress passed legislation to eliminate silver from quarters, dimes, and eventually half dollars. Beginning in 1965, the mint switched to the modern clad composition, made of a pure copper core with outer layers of copper nickel. This is the same metal mix still used in quarters today. So even though the coin you are describing is often thought of as silver, in fact, the 1965 Washington quarter is a copper nickel-clad coin. Your coin does not have a mint mark. That is also correct, because from 1965 to 1967, the mint decided not to include mint marks on coins. The purpose was to discourage coin hoarding during the transition away from silver coinage. Collectors at the time had begun saving large numbers of coins with mint marks, which caused additional shortages. By removing mint marks for a few years, the mint hoped to reduce this practice. So all 1965 quarters, whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, were issued without a mint mark. The design remained the same classic John Flanagan portrait of George Washington on the obverse, with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1965. The reverse features the heraldic eagle with spread wings, perched on a bundle of arrows and framed by olive branches, with the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. This design had been in use since 1932 and would remain unchanged until the start of the 50 State Quarters program in 1999. You describe your coin as being in fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading terms, fine is a middle grade, meaning the coin has seen heavy circulation but still retains most major details. On your coin, Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers would appear worn, but the overall design remains clear. The scratches further lower the visual appeal and prevent it from being considered a collectible grade coin in terms of value. The 1965 quarter had a massive mintage of more than 1.8 billion coins. Because of this, examples are extremely common in circulated grades like fine. In today's market, a 1965 quarter in fine condition with scratches is worth face value 25 cents. Most dealers will not pay more than that, as these coins are still regularly found in circulation. Where value can rise is in coins that are in uncirculated condition or have unique qualities. A 1965 quarter in about uncirculated or mint state condition may bring $1 to $5. And certified high-grade examples graded MS-65 or higher can sell for $20 to $50. In top grades such as MS-67, it can occasionally reach into the hundreds of dollars, because they are very difficult to find without contact marks. Another area of interest is errors. Some rare 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchettes from 1964. These transitional errors are highly collectible and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. The only way to determine if a coin is one of these rare silver errors is to weigh it. A regular clad 1965 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs 6.25 grams. But for a normal clad 1965 quarter in fine condition with scratches, realistic market value remains 25 cents. It is historically significant as the first year of clad coinage and a symbol of the end of circulating silver coinage in the U.S. But, due to its massive mintage and heavy circulation, it is not rare or valuable in average condition. Next up, the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is part of the beloved wheat cent series that ran from 1909 until 1958. By 1937, the Lincoln cent had already been in production for nearly 3 decades, and it was firmly established as one of the most recognizable and trusted coins in American circulation. The absence of a mint mark beneath the date identifies your coin as a Philadelphia issue, which typically produced the largest numbers of cents during this period. On the obverse, the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time a U.S. president appeared on a circulating coin, and it quickly became a mainstay of American coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of his profile is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1937. Since there is no mint mark beneath the date, this example came from the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse carries the classic wheat ears design, with 2 stylized wheat stalks curving along the sides of the coin, framing the bold inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. At the top is the motto E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one. You describe your coin as being in very fine VF condition with some scratches. In numismatic terms, very fine means the coin saw moderate circulation but still retains strong detail. On the obverse, Lincoln's cheek and jawline remain well defined, and most of his hair detail is visible, though slightly flattened on the high points. On the reverse, the wheat stalks show clear outlines and partial interior detail with only modest wear. The scratches you mentioned slightly lower the eye appeal, but this is quite typical for coins that have been handled in everyday use for decades. The mintage of the 1937 Philadelphia wheat cent was large. Over 309 million coins were struck. Makes the 1937 cent a common date in the series, especially in circulated condition. Collectors can readily find examples today, and many uncirculated rolls were also saved, meaning higher-grade coins are also available on the market. Because of this strong supply, circulated pieces like yours are affordable and widely collected, while higher-grade uncirculated examples are where premiums rise. In terms of value, a 1937 Lincoln cent in very fine condition with scratches typically sells for about 15 to 30 cents in today's market. In slightly higher circulated grades, such as extremely fine, values may rise to 50 cents to $1. About uncirculated coins often bring around $1 to $3, while uncirculated examples can start at $5 to $10. Brilliant red mint state coins certified at high grades such as MS65 or MS66 can sell for $50 to several $100s, especially if they have full red color and strong eye appeal. The 1937 Philadelphia issue does not have any major key varieties, but as with most wheat cents, minor die variations such as doubled dies, repunch dates, or small die cracks do exist and are of interest to specialists. More dramatic mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or strut-through errors, can also increase a coin's value significantly, sometimes ranging from $20 to $100 or more, depending on rarity and demand. So, for your coina, 1937 Lincoln wheat sent without a mint mark in very fine condition with some scratches. The realistic value in today's market is 15 to 30 cents. While not a rare or high-dollar coin, it is still a meaningful collectible, being more than 85 years old and a direct link to America in the late Great Depression era. Even in circulated condition, it tells a story of the time when pennies had real purchasing power and were essential in daily commerce. For collectors of the Wheat Penny series, a 1937 cent is an important piece in building a full date set and a reminder of how long the Lincoln design has endured on U.S. coinage.